Are you better off to buy a home in Calgary right now or wait until 2025? Like many Canadians, you could be struggling to answer this question with the potential of lower interest rates and lower prices, but is it the right decision? My name is Ryan Gillard at Real Broker, your Calgary Realtor, and in this video, I'll let you know what I think are the pros and cons of buying now or waiting until 2025. Let's get into it. All right, and first things first. So predicting what's going to happen with the real estate market and interest rates, that's difficult. Nobody has the right answer. But what I do is the first working day of every single month, the Calgary Real Estate Board releases their stats. I will go through that stats package and I'll analyze it, and I make videos like this and I summarize what happened, what does this mean for a buyer, what does this mean for a seller, and I think it can be quite helpful. So if you are trying to understand the market and you're making a move in the near future, you can subscribe to my channel, you can look at my previous videos. Every single month I do this, and you can find the link to my latest video right here by clicking the link. And I also have a newsletter where I summarize it. I go over the inventory, the prices, what does this mean for buyers and sellers, and it should be helpful if you're looking to make a move in the near future. So let's talk about interest rates, and central bankers keep hinting that their plan is to lower the rates even more. And this keeps potential buyers on the sidelines as they wait to see what happens because, obviously a lower rate gives them more breathing room, lower payments. It makes the whole process a bit easier for them. So let's pull up what the rates are currently. And right now they're at 4.25%. From what I can tell from economists is that many of them believe we aren't going below 3.5% anytime soon, and it might stay there for a very long time. Don't expect that they go down to 1%. It probably won't happen. They were down that low because of COVID, which was a pure anomaly. And you might be waiting for a very long time. If your plan is to wait from 4.25% all the way down to 1 or 2%, I think that's a bit unrealistic. If it were me, right now at 4.25%, if it drops to say 4 or 3.75, I think I would probably act because there are a lot of buyers that might be thinking that exact same way. And once they get into the market, it could drive up prices even further. And it's hard to time that properly. And I think a lot of buyers are logical and realistic. And they might think, 4%, 3.75%, that's good enough. And they might enter the market. And you don't want to miss that boat, and all of a sudden the prices start climbing and you're on the sidelines watching it happen. So if it were me, I wouldn't be waiting for 1%, 2%. I don't think it's going to happen. So what's happening with the real estate market in Calgary right now? So as of September 2024, our price growth, we are up over last year, but the pace of price growth is starting to level off. And our inventory is actually up quite substantially. I think our inventory was up about 50% over last year, and our months of supply is up 80% over last year. That's the stat that if nobody can list a property for sale, it would take how many months to sell the remaining inventory. Now, the catch here is that we are comparing this current September to record low inventory levels. There was a sizzling hot market last year, and now we're moving away from that. So it's not bad, it's just not as hot as it was last year, which was record setting. And working in the industry, I can tell when I go to book a showing on a property that could be priced reasonably well, the home is still available. After 10, 15 days, the home is still in the market. When I show properties, I see less business cards. I get fewer showings on my own listings. I get agents who are calling me for feedback. They're bugging me, they're texting me. They're trying to, coax me into writing an offer. These are all signs of a more normal market. When the market's red hot like it was earlier this year, there are lineups out the door to view properties. Homes are selling one day in the market with 5 to 10 offers. I've noticed that has kind of stopped the past month or two. And the trend is just a bit more of a normal balanced market. So all the signs, the stats are showing this, and just working in the industry, I can just tell by the response I'm getting, showing homes and listing properties. Now, in terms of waiting until next year as a buyer because of these conditions, I think that you would still be making a mistake. I think we still have solid fundamentals here. We are one of the more affordable big cities in Canada, and we have a strong population moving into Alberta, specifically Calgary. So strong population growth, affordability, we've got a healthy economy, we have a strong oil and gas sector. All these signs point to a favorable real estate market in Calgary. And if I'm a buyer, I would not be waiting for the interest rates to drop or the prices to go down for that reason. And In many sectors in Calgary, we are still in a seller's market. For the average price properties or below average, that is still definitely a seller's market. And if you're waiting for the interest rates to drop or the prices to drop in that sector, I think it might be costly for you. So while it is true that our inventory is up and the pace of price growth has started to level off, I think that's good news for a buyer. It's way more tolerable to buy right now than it was earlier this year or all of last year. There's less competing offers, there's less lineups to view properties, unconditional offers and stuff like that. It's way easier to buy right now. And if they do lower the rates and the prices go up, you can ride that wave. So I think right now is an awesome time to be a buyer. And if I were in that position, I would have no problems at all buying right now. It's just way easier. And again, ride that wave when the prices do go up. Now, I would not be waiting for the spring market as a buyer. I think if you waited for the spring market the last 2 to 3 years in Calgary, there's a good chance that you got wrecked by the market. We had insane competition, bidding wars, lineups out the door, unconditional offer, sight unseen offers. That was all very prevalent in the spring market. It is the busiest time of the year in terms of real estate sales. And I would avoid that time period if I was a buyer. I would get in right now. And if the market does heat up again for the spring market, guess what? You're already into the market and you can ride that wave up as well. That's what I would probably do. Now, there are two things to mention here as it relates to mortgages, which might change our market. And I believe it's December 15th. First-time home buyers can access 30-year mortgages, which helps lower their payments, gives them more flexibility. And the mortgage insurance cap is changing as well from $1 million to $1.5 million. Now, this might affect the higher priced markets like Toronto and Vancouver more than Calgary, but it can help our luxury end of the market in Calgary. Now, how it changes, if you're buying like a $1.2 million property, I believe once the change happens in December, the buyer would have to have $95,000 down versus $240,000 down as it currently is right now. So it is a big difference for the higher end market. And I think these changes are likely to bring a bit of a surge to the market in the first quarter of 2025. And again, if I'm a buyer, I'd rather be in front of this change and ride the wave if it does happen. And that's what I would do in this situation. And it's not just about the prices and the interest rates. We have to look at your own personal situation. Like if it improves your living situation and your life, does it offer you control, stability, building equity, more room for your family, anything like that? If that's important to you, then I would probably make the move. Now let's talk about some of the reasons why you might want to wait. And I'm just going to use my voice recorder here just because I'm being blinded by the sun at the moment. And the first point here, I would say market stabilization. With the market cooling after a really long hot streak in Calgary, waiting may allow it to stabilize further, potentially avoiding the high prices of the recent years. Now, my opinion, I think you are making a bit of a gamble here and you're going against the market fundamentals. I personally would not wait, but that's my opinion. I could be wrong. The experts were wrong about COVID. They had no idea that it would change our market in Calgary so much. So the experts can be wrong, but I think that you might be making a bit of a gamble. That's my opinion. Number two, interest rate trends. They have been high recently. They might decrease more by 2025, which could help you secure a lower mortgage rate. That could definitely happen. But again, they might stay at 4.25% for a long time. They might even go up. I don't think inflation is totally finished with us yet. Everything is so expensive in Canada. Our government, we run deficits every year. We're spending a lot of money, printing a lot of money. We're always attacking the oil industry. All of these things are very inflationary in my mind. So that is also a bit of a gamble, but it might work out for you. More inventory and options. As the market cools, more properties may become available. That definitely might happen in Calgary, but again, I do think you're going against the fundamentals here. And if they lower the rates a little bit, I think a lot of buyers might jump into the market. So it is definitely a gamble, but it might work out in your favor if you wait. The next point, better financial preparation. It depends on your own personal situation. If you are waiting to save for a larger down payment or improve your credit score, stuff like that, that might be beneficial for you. So it just depends on your own personal situation. Next point, economic uncertainty. Now, we might have a big recession in North America. That could definitely happen. Who knows? I've heard stories about stuff like this. It's always a bit uncertain during U.S. elections, and there's also an election in Canada coming up. So our economic situation across the country, it might change. A recession might be likely. But again, nobody knows this for certain, so it is a bit of a gamble. And the last point here, new builds and development. I think Calgary is seeing growth in many areas. I've got a video specifically on this, the new builds in Calgary, and we are building all over the city. and waiting could mean access to newer, more modern housing options as they become available. So there are some valid reasons to wait, but I think overall it is a bit of a gamble, and you're going against the market fundamentals of Calgary. Again, just my opinion, but hopefully that helps.